Hey, hello, long time no see. I haven't made a video in a while on this channel. And while I've been gone, there has been a new exciting development in the AR field, right? There is a new platform where you can create AR effects, AR filters. And that platform is none other than YouTube. Now, we all know that the closing of Metaspark and or Spark AR was a very big impact on the AR industry. A lot of AR creators were affected because a huge chunk of the market was gone, right? Because there are only so many players in the market. And apart from Snapchat, now we have YouTube, one of the biggest platforms in the world. And this has a lot of potential. Now, this is currently in early access. It's not out for the public yet, but luckily I've been provided with early access to the tool before the public release. Now, I haven't even touched this so far, right? I've just opened it, looked around, but I haven't made anything yet. So I'm going to make my first ever YouTube effect on this video. So let's go create a first effect. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, this is my channel. So as you can see, the effect maker is linked to your YouTube channel. So whatever effects you make will be associated with whatever channel you're using to log in. As you can see, I haven't made any effects yet. And in the menu, we can see create, where you will create your effects, and manage, where you can manage your effects. As you can see, it's in the early phase of development. There are no templates or anything else right now, but from what I've seen, you might be able to create whatever you want even without templates. Okay. So now let's click on a new project. So this is the layout. On the right side, we have a preview. Left side, we have our menu, and our top menu is where we have our name. This is where we have our effect limits. An effect, a YouTube effect, has to be under 5 MB and has to consume less than 50 MB of memory. And if I go into change layout, I can open up a patch editor. We'll talk about it later. And here is preview on device. And if you scan that QR code, you will be able to preview the effect. Let me move my camera so you can see. There you go. Perfect. So let's go through the menu first. On the left side, we have objects and assets. Assets, I'm assuming whatever you upload, and objects are whatever you add in the software. One thing you might have noticed is this is entirely web-based. This happens in your browser. You don't need to download anything. You can create it in your browser itself. So on top, we have our title, and here you can see some options, right? So first option is color filter. You can either add filter in the tool itself or upload your own custom LUT. For that, they've given you a LUT template. I'll create a different video covering that entire process. Next thing is image. In image, we can add an image or add an image sequence, that is an animation. After that, we have face effects such as face paint, like makeup, etc. Face accessories. In that, you can either add a 2D image or a 3D object to the face. The third one is stretch. You can use this to stretch the face of the user. And if you want to remove any of the objects you have added, you right click, you can rename, add object, or delete them. And the fourth thing is camera and segmentation. Here you have body segmentation to make like green screen effects, etc. It automatically gives you a body and background. And here we have camera feed. So if you want to add camera feed within your effect, like if you want to have like double camera feeds, you can do that. Then we have text. You can add text, and then you have some font options that you can choose from, and it will apply that font. And after that, we have 3D models. You can add a 3D model, upload a 3D model. And for that, you have to use GLB files. If you're familiar with 3D modeling, 3D assets, etc., you know what that is. Then we have our logic, our visual scripting. Now, when we come to the viewer, let me add something just for reference. Let me add some text. In navigation, you can see there is a 2D scene, a 3D scene, and then we have our gizmos. Then we have our movement gizmo to move. Then we have our rotation gizmo to rotate, our scaling gizmo to scale. And you can use your mouse to navigate also. That is, you can use your right click to rotate, and then you use your middle click, scroll wheel click to pan. And there is one more option, is right click. It will give you a viewpoint, and then from there you can pick front view, right view, bottom view, and so on. You can reset it to go back to whatever you started with, right? So that is the basic navigation. You can use backspace to delete. You might have noticed that a lot of the layout, and when we get into logic, you'll also see that a lot of the visual scripting as well is very Metaspark-ish, very Spark-ish. So it is a very intelligent way to have this UX UI for effect creators like me or other AR creators who have experience using other platforms. This creates a sense of familiarity, and this also helps people carry over that knowledge. People who have spent a lot of time in those tools to carry over that knowledge into this tool. So for the purpose of this video, I'll be creating a simple color filter. So what we'll do is go into color tab and click on add filter. Now this brings up a very interesting thing. It brings up different kinds of previews to give you an example of how the color will affect different kinds of pictures or videos that people might take. You have like indoor close-ups, you have indoor object, you have outdoor scenes, you have a graffiti on a wall, right? Different kinds of environments, including your preview, that you can look at to judge what your color might look like. Now we have talked about what color might look like on different kinds of scenarios and things, right? So what about people, different kind of people? So there are preview demos. If you click on this button, you see different kinds of people, right? There are 7 models in idle animation. We have a diverse cast to make sure we can check what our colors and effects look like on different kind of people. It is inclusive, right? Which is very important. For full body, we can go here and we have total of 6 models that have full body previews. Let's go back to our default preview and start working on this look. So what I like about this is that the intensity is set to 50 by default, right? So this lets you do something that I like to do when I'm editing videos, etc. is set to 100, right? And I try to create a look. For example, let's see, let's bring the brightness up a little bit. Keep an eye here also. So we are looking at the other kinds of previews. Bring up the contrast a little bit, bring up the saturation, move the hues a little bit the right, because we have magenta on the left, and in terms of looks, if you can move away from magenta, it's a pretty good thing, right? You can see the look is a little extreme. Okay, now we have like a warm kind of like greenish look. But what I can do here is, this is at 100%, right, intensity. So now I'll slowly bring it down, see where I find it to be good, right? Let's do 60%, right? Looks good. And let's see what it looks like without the color filter and with the color filter. This is off, it is on, right? Off, on. That might be a little too much. So to make sure it looks good is I'll preview it on my phone. I'll go here. I see this QR code. So you're supposed to use a QR scanner to use this code. Let's look at the preview. Now let's just make sure it looks good on all other previews. You can resize the preview from the corner. You can't just move it, but you can resize it. Let's open that. Preview is going to filter. It's just a little bit of a warm look. It's not too much. It's just subtle warm look. Like it's a golden hour. Like it's just sun is just setting. Kind of look. So that is the kind of look I'm going for. So let's name it. Let's make sure we are under the requirements, 10 KB, 50 MB, right? Very simple effect that you're publishing. Now, before I publish this effect, let me just show you the logic very quickly. For example, let me click on triggers. So I'm going to add some simple logic just to show you how this works, if although limited in options because it's early access, obviously. Let's click on tap, right? Very simple. Note comes up here. We can close this. If you want to open it, you can click here again. And the simple function we're trying to add is, if you tap the screen, switch off the color filter, then switch it on again, right? So we can go here, click on object. We can say get property, right? And we can go into object again and then say set property. Then we go into control flow and do if, and click on object, pick a color filter, set property to visible, set to visible, set it to condition. Then here pick color filter again, set it to visible, and then set it to false. Very simple, right? If true, then set it to false. Then we'll go into object again and bring in set property again, set to color filter, set to visibility, and this left to true. So here we have a very basic logic. When you tap, there is a condition. We are getting the property of the object. If true, that if the filter is visible, set it to false, switch it off. If it is false or if it is off, then turn it on. Very simple logic. So let's test it out in the preview. Right here, interactions work. So off, on. So with that, what we can do is go ahead and publish this. Click on submit. When you click on submit, it tells you to upload a thumbnail. And if you click on image, it will give you some guidelines as to what guidelines the image should follow. For this, what I'm going to do is upload this image that I prepared. That is a copyright free image, by the way. So here are the details you're supposed to give for your effect. So I'm naming it Sunset Avenue. I'm supposed to describe it. So for description, instructions, tab, and visibility is set to public by default. So those are the details you need to fill in when you're publishing an effect. Once you have all the details here, and once you have your effect made, you can click on submit and submit your effect. Once it has been reviewed, I'll get an email that it has been published. And then I can go into my manage effects, and here it shows me the date when I made it. It is in review, and it will give me the analytics, right? So that was the general overview of YouTube's effect maker. I think this has a lot of potential for AR creators and also content creators as well. And by the way, if you're watching this video, it means that I already published the effect, which means there's a link in the description where you can go and check the effect for yourself. And apart from that, this is a really big opportunity for AR creators. If you are an aspiring AR creator, if you want to get into the AR field, this can be a really good time for you. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel to keep an eye on more tech related content.